Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here, your daily dose of Palantir. Man, that thing moves fast. So today fell 6.8% on a day where tech fell 2.5%. By tech, I mean the NASDAQ. Markets saw their first red day in, I don't know, 12, 13 days. And everybody's freaking out. So I can't tell you how many messages I have. Are we buying the dip? I'm not talking about Palantir, just in general, everything. What about this one? What about that one? It's like one red day. It wasn't even one day. It was like 3 hours. Market opened green. The small caps were up like 0.8, almost 1%. So it's like people, red happens. They make two colors. We'd run out of green pixels if they didn't happen. So there has to be buyers. There have to be sellers. You can't just have green, 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 green. In this case, Palantir, it's not green, 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 green. It's pretty active. So you can own it for the super long term, and that's totally valid. We've discussed this before. By the way, I'm not a super fan. I said in my previous videos, I found it recently. I'm a fan of how it trades. This is pretty cool stuff. And yesterday I did a video and I said there'll be buyers around 28 and a little bit below that. And then if that fails, there'll be buyers around 25. So the first sign of buyers failed. The next set of buyers stepped in. That was today. So 25.3-ish, they stepped in. There was also a potential trigger at 29.50. That didn't happen. Steve, my alert's still there. I bet you I had an alert that triggered here, kind of like a buy the dip moment on fast trading. So this is a 15-minute candle. So it's relatively fast. So if somebody doesn't trade that often, doesn't care much. But I have a point to make today. And it's back to a point where it says, hey, we're arguing over it. That's bulls and bears talking. And let's settle this another day. And they're kicking the can. It looks like, I know, minus 7% doesn't look like a but over the last 3 days, it's like nothing happened. Not last few days, I should say. And let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I did the first video that blew up somewhere on here. And then I did another video that also was pretty popular. Not as popular as the first one, was somewhere on here. And they both came with great results. Like, by great results, I thought something was going to happen here. It did. I thought the same thing here. It did. And now look, they're back to the bubbles. So the zone is contentious, right? They're fighting over it. So the results are going to be fantastic. I don't know who's going to win, but overall, who's in charge? The buyers, overall markets. That's why we are at all-time highs. We have half a day of red and everybody's freaking out. That's how used to winning the traders are these days. They can't even tolerate half a day of redness. Meanwhile, the buyers and sellers in here are more realistic on crack, but as far as amplitude, but this is what it should be, buying and selling. It shouldn't be like buy, 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 sell, buy, 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 sell. It should be like buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. Stints here and there, not just straight up. All right, so what do I do from here? Nothing has changed as far as upside trigger. If I really want a big move up, I should see them take out 29.50 first and really 31 and change. That is a pretty big failure. So I would have an alert. I have two alerts. Those orange lines are my alerts. I can add some alerts. I can tell you there's going to be some sellers in here. So every ledge they fell off becomes resistance on the way up. So 28.20, what I thought would be support yesterday, the 28 point something, 27 point high something, is now a source of problems. See that orange line right here? Solid orange line. Okay, so these bars here, this is a volume profile. If you want to think about volume down here, tells you when the trades happened. These bars are the same bars, only they tell us where they happened, at what price. So it's actionable. To me, it's more useful than these volumes down here. So this tells me that at 28.7, this is where both buyers and sellers love to trade it the most. What does that mean? If it's rallying, it hits it, it's going to slow down. How is that? So think about it. When a stock is moving up, that means there are more buyers than sellers. So it'll be buy, sell, buy, sell. They get to a point where they both love it. Ooh, they hit the brakes. Then the buy, sell will become more equalized. It'll be buy, sell, and then it slows down. It's not death. It just slows down. That's how you build a cup and handle. That's how you build an inverse cup and inverse head and shoulders. Any bullish pattern. You come to a prior fail point, you tackle with it, you step back a little bit, you run at it again, and then you finally punch through and exceed. That's how we got this move. Except they did it too fast. I told you in the last videos, this was unfortunate for the bulls. It just priced out the entire potential in one instant. So if you were long and stepped out to walk the dog, you missed it. Whereas if it was orderly, then you had all the time in the world to build momentum to tackle this mess and maybe scalp some off. Instead, it's like boop and then disappeared. It's just not cool. Nothing is, the damage is temporary as long as they hold the floor. So this whole mess is support. So 25 point something, the assumption is they hold. If they lose it tomorrow, what's today? Today the 9th December. So caution, because if they lose this, they will gather some steam to go to the next leg. Maybe they fill this gap. So there is 24 is they spent a couple of days at it and is the circle. So I expect some support at 24. If you want to be stickler about it, 23.5, 23.9, this zone here. So here's what I'll do. I'll add an alert and I'll say I expect buyers. So if it's falling, it should find some support. The first support was proven today. If it fails at 25.3, then they'll probably go to the next one, which is down here. If that fails, we'll have a different conversation down at 21 and change. I know you're hating it, but look, I did this a while back. In this case, a few days ago. That's where I thought it would go if it failed at this zone. So the same thing goes on. If I zoom out, take out all the lines, you'll see. So they took a step. The orange lines are my alerts. They took a step up, like instead of gradual, they've just leapt up. So it's going to take time to consolidate. Remember I told you volume profile? Look at where it is, the point of control. The mostly hotly contested volume area is in the tens. Clearly, this doesn't reflect what's going on because it needs more time to trade up here to make these bars fatter to move the value area up. So it needs time to mature up here, and that means it's going to go up and down, and unfortunately for those who can't take it, this thing moves fast. So it's plus 5%, minus 5%. You just have to know the levels. From this perspective, I can tell you nothing changes even if it falls down to 22 and 21. The bulls are in control. You can still draw higher lows. The bulls are in control. Nothing changes. And also this week or last week, I can't remember, I drew this white box and then I extended it right. I said the action should be inside this white box. And then I added the line that kind of splits it in the middle. I mentioned it in my previous videos. I called this resistance at the time, and now it's still contentious. So I'm going to take that word out. It's just too big. Okay, so this blue line, almost in the middle of the white box, is where they're stuck. So I'm right about the white box. It's wide, but it's based on these candles here, and so far they're holding. So the edges for somebody who's actively trading should guide. So any move towards the edge should be a buying opportunity for a swing higher with a tight stop. Vice versa, any move towards the upper end should be an opportunity to book your profit and fade it until they break through either sides. So if they break out from the upper ends of the range they've been trading in, they usually go boop and they overwhelm the bears, and vice versa. The bulls are tired if they break out of the range they've been fighting for, and then they exhale and they go down. This should be a solid floor. If this is lost, then I would ask why. as long as we're setting higher lows, it's okay. But once you lose a neckline that was clear floor, I mean, look at it. It's an island of 4 candles, 4 2-hour candles. So a full day basically, fighting over the whatever debacle happened inside the circle. I don't care about the headlines. We're talking technicals. And then they decided, no, we were right. Let's go. And then, oh yeah, we were definitely right. And now they're still fighting for it. Bulls are in control. Bad day, bulls are in control. It's like having a bad part of the game, but you don't lose the game. So nothing changes. If you were actively trading it, I would have probably sold put spreads in it. I told you, I disclosed my positions the other day. On bad days, I sold put spreads at the money, and those played out very well. I booked them. I closed them for pennies. I also bought a debit call spread, which is a bullish position. And way out in time. I still have that. This is faith in the fact that everybody knows what they're talking about in this company, and hey, it's going to go higher in the future, and that's into next year. I don't need a time frame for it. I'm not managing that risk. It's a debit call spread that's $10 wide, so it's slow moving because it's way out in time. Small out-of-pocket expense for a chance to quadruple. Versus I had a shorter term trade that was I bought a naked call. It went really green right away. So instead of booking it, I sold against it for this week to make it into a call diagonal. I took that off today, early in the day. I smelled a rat all over the market. I said, you know what? I have already 2 other wins on it. I'm going to take one off because it was the shortest period of time on it. So most sensitive to price movement. Took that off, but I'm still long overall. I'm not a super fan because I really don't understand what they do. I have an idea. They have decision-making GUIs for either the segment being government or private sector, and basically to empower the people in there to make decisions on the fly with all the data that they have within their companies or organizations. So that's my top line of it. As far as who's involved in the company, all I know is I watched the video that they did, the heads of the company, about their own prospectus, and I was impressed with how fluid they were and how natural it was. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. Plus, people tell me that there are some good names in the investment community that believe in them. So who am I to doubt bad hair, right? So that was my first impression. It was like, dude, you own a mirror? So, and I judged him based on that. Turns out that no, maybe he's not full of it. And, so far so good. Nick signing out. Oh, wait. Down below I have a link to the chat room. We do this kind of stuff all day. Not all about Palantir. In fact, very newly about Palantir, but the whole market. And forecast the day before it starts. Wrap up the day, recap the day, update the day, middle of the day, share some trading strategies with options, and definitely answer all questions about everything I know about charts. I didn't learn this from anybody on Wall Street. This is all self-taught. So I'm not going to be talking Greek or jargon to you. It's plain, simple English. I had a whole conversation with somebody today about that. So hopefully you'll hop in, try us out. And if you don't follow me on Twitter or Stocktwits, it's racing. Let's see here, Racer Nick, no K. Let me show you actually. You think I get my act together one day. So it's Racer Nick, and that's for Stocktwits or Twitter. I hit both at the same time. There's no K in Racer Nick. Signing out.